Hello and welcome to my MARP on flexible seating. My name is Mike Miller and this is for EDUC 548 at Azusa Pacific University. I was first introduced to flexible seating during my student teaching. I walked into a classroom the first day and there was a couch and there was cushions and stools and I was like, man, what is this all about? So I had never seen it before, and that's really when I first became curious about this. And so that's why I chose it for my research project. And through this project, I hope you start to understand what flexible seating is, what it looks like, why it's effective in strategies in helping physical and mental health, really helps student engagement, helps lower student anxiety, and really could be a huge benefit to your classroom, regardless of you're a kindergarten teacher or you are a high school teacher. There is some form of flexible seating that could be an effective tool for your classroom. So I hope you enjoyed this project. I learned a lot through this process, and really, flexible seating is worth a try. You should look into it, give it a shot. Some things may work, some may not, and some things may work one year and not the next. So really, it is all about trial and error and just exploring all the different options that there is for flexible seating. So let's get started. What is flexible seating? So really, flexible seating is the replacement of what you see in this photo right here. The traditional seating charts or rows, just desk, chair, very dry and just it looks like a place that really a lot of learning goes on. No, just kidding. No, that would be very standard for what most of us grew up with. And what flexible seating is, changing that atmosphere, changing that environment, and really providing students with the individual opportunities for choice and in them changing their learning environment. As you can see, there's really one environment in this classroom here, and it's very uniform and very plain. And what flexible seating is a total change to that type of environment. So let's explore some options. What does flexible seating look like? Here's a couple options. We have wobble stools and mobile desks. These desks have wheels on the bottom of them, so you can really move them wherever you'd like. Two very popular options. You have the mobile desk that can really be put anywhere, super sturdy. If you are looking into flexible seating, you want to invest in quality. You want this to last for more than just 1 year. You don't want to be buying this stuff every year. And so you want to invest in quality. We have lower tables with short stools. This happens to be a second grade classroom, so you can see the size of these students. You have the cushion chairs with what you would call like a kneeling table or a squatting table. And the very popular picture on the right there, those are scoop rockers. And they are very popular for reading. It's almost like an enclosure for the students. This would be probably kinder through third grade, would be the size of the student that could use this. So, very popular options. The yoga ball and stools. The yoga ball is very important. If you look at the bottom there, there's legs. That's crucial for yoga balls. It's not like the round one you would see at the gym. This really helps students see these seats as tools, not toys. They are instruments to help your learning, and that's really important that you explain that to your students as you are implementing flexible seating in your classroom. And so those legs help that ball from not moving around, and really just helps the students stay in one place. So, what are the benefits of class or flexible seating? Why should you put it in your classroom? First of all, it creates options. The power of student choice is huge, empowering your students to really have personal responsibility over their own learning. I'm giving you the opportunity to make this choice. I hope you make a wise choice. We'll see how it goes. And really, on the other side of that, it lessens the chance for defiance because you're not placing a student in an area unless they've abused a privilege of some way or a flexible seating option. Really, the defiance won't be there because it's not you demanding that they do something. You're giving them all the power into choosing, at least at first, where they want to learn, how best they can learn. And it also carries over into distractions. So with your flexible seating, you have to make sure there is plenty of space. Usually I do 2 arm lengths away from other students. So, what is the physical benefits? From a lot of my reading in the study I found, movement is crucial for your overall health. Whether you're 2 or 102, you need to move. You need to be walking. And that really increases brain activity, specifically the prefrontal cortex. And as you can see, brain scans and whatnot, once that area of the brain is really working, that leads over into all your comprehension, memory, organizational skills, your critical thinking, or your problem solving strategies. Your awareness is higher. And also one of the physical sides of it, like you saw with the scoop rockers, some of these are very comfortable and fun. Students love to use them. With the physical leads into the mental, we all learn in different ways. We all have different learning styles, and so we need to have different accommodations for that. And so having the choice for that really helps students. I mean, if it's just a desk and a chair, there's nowhere to go with that. You don't have a lot of options. And so with flexible seating, it creates all of that and really can carry over into all the other parts of the mental health. Whether it's less anxiety or concentration. Maybe students need to learn by themselves. They need to have their own seating area, not near anyone else. Or maybe they, like we talk about, the creating a proximity that's clear of distractions. That's why they're not near each other at all. So it's far less likely for students to be talking loudly to distract another student, or read something and show it to another student. And so really that helps lessen that. And specifically with math, which we'll touched on in the study, is the reduction of anxiety based upon the physical environment is huge for math. There's so much performance anxiety tied to math. So really flexible seating helps that. Now to the research. Specifically one, I read through a few studies, but one specifically out of the UK, and it was with 4 doctors from the University of Salford, and they looked at a lot of classrooms, and they looked at almost 4,000 students. And their project was called the Holistic Evidence and Design Project, or HED, and they came to the conclusion that nearly 16% of classrooms, the physical characteristics of a classroom led to the growth in academic performance. And they looked at a lot of factors. They looked at design, air quality, colors, but one thing specifically they looked at was personalization of student choice when it came to seating. And of that 16% growth in academic performance, nearly 25% of that was directly tied to seating, so student choice. So I thought that was a huge fact. And in part of their study, they said that flexible seating had a major effect on mathematics, so large they couldn't really explain it, other than the fact that they said that the reduction of anxiety would be tied to the flexible and comfortable learning areas. Nearly 73% of student progress was tied to that in math. I just found that to be astounding. And I could see maybe this is something we should look for during standardized tests. I know those are very rules-oriented and routines. They're very strict on that, but maybe this is an option we can look at to help our students raise their achievement during standardized testing. Some professional testimonies, just quickly. A few quotes I've got from some of my colleagues talking about how they love flexible seating in their classroom. They use it a little, they use it a lot. As you see, Lisa talked about everything in her classroom is from garage sales, so you don't have to, break the bank to provide for your students. And, as Andrea said there, the responsibility really encourages the students to find their spot and get started right away. And that really leads to, the efficiency of your classroom and your classroom management. Students know what they got to do, they know where to go, and it really lessens the chance for them to be distracted. In your experience, how have you seen flexible seating impact the achievement of your students?
Well, I've seen that giving them the choice and giving them responsibility along with that choice has really let them know that I trust them, has let them, just felt the freedom to make those choices. I think choices has been one of the most important things to make a good decision for where they're going to sit. I'm not monitoring them as much as I have seen with my traditional desks and chairs. The responsibility is on them, and that's the choice that they've made, and they've chosen where they want to sit and who they want to sit next to. And so I'm counting on them to really do their best during that, the time that they're sitting in that seat. And so they rise to that expectation. And so their achievement, as far as working independently or collaboratively, just has increased.
And those are a few of the professional testimonies about how they use flexible seating, and that was Rhonda just sharing specifically about how she uses it in her classroom. And just some perspective from the kiddos in my class. Scoop rockers are by far the most popular, and as George says there, it just really helps them relax, specifically with reading. Students love the yoga balls because they love to move. The standing desks a lot of times, or the mobile desks. And so really it's It's all about student preference and student choice. So tell me a bit about your experiences with flexible seating and how you feel like it impacted your learning.
Well, I like flexible seating. I think it gave me some of the freedom that I kind of like in a place where I kind of have to follow a lot of directions. It also helped me relax as I kind of moved around. It kind of did my own thing.
So like Bella said there, freedom is a huge benefit of flexible seating. Students feel free even though they are in the confines of your classroom. And so I think that's really important. So now we talked about what it looks like and some opinions of others. How do you create a flexible classroom? So start small. There are opportunities out there. Stores like Five Below, 99-cent store, and all of this. And continue to ask yourself a question, whether it's like, dorm room at the end of the university year, like all those students are throwing away good furniture. So ask yourself, can I use this? Look at garage sales. And like I said previously, invest in quality. Plan on using this for years. Another thing through some of my research I found that was very effective was Donors Choose is a great thing you can create for your classroom and give parents the option to fund your classroom and help you. And also, of course, local and state grants. And so this is a growing trend, and I think that there will be money out there if you search for it. Now, the most important part of how to implement your flexible classroom, and this is all about establishing routines and procedures, exactly how to and how not to use all of the seating. And that really comes at the beginning of the year. And you may have to revisit it as the year goes on. But really, it's about creating and covering the rules and expectations and behaviors for your classroom. The students know exactly how to use the scoop rocker. They know if they're playing in it, they lose that privilege. If they're bouncing on the yoga ball, they lose that privilege. That has to be very clear. Some will bounce on that ball. It needs to be taken away from them. The other students are watching that. And so really empowering your students in that way, like, I'm giving you the power. You have the choice to make the right decision here. So with that flexible seating options, it really is all about that. Your routines and procedures early on. Creating a system of rotation that seems fair to the students, especially for the most desirable options. There needs to be some sort of a rotation, not first come, first serve, to create some sort of a panic when you're dismissing students to go reading or go writing, or you can use flexible seating once you finish this assignment, and so, or with testing. And then also, don't be afraid to fail. Some options will work great one year, and then you won't have the same students next year, and it won't work. So really explore and learn, talk to colleagues, and really there's great resources out there like blogs. And so I hope this research project has also helped you in that. So my experience this is what my classroom looks like. And so as you can see, this is my students during reading time. They're in their scoop rockers, and it's not for all of them. Some choose to sit on their stools, but this is during our reading time. A few students are writing. They're finishing their writing projects. I use stools. I use yoga balls, and so as you can see, my student there, she's using yoga ball perfectly, and she's moving. It's increasing brain activity, and so this is my experience with it. I'd love to implement more as I go on, but this is what I have so far. So I hope you've enjoyed my research presentation. Here are my references, and really, flexible seating is an amazing opportunity for you to really engage your students further. Find opportunities for them to feel more comfortable, reduce anxiety, and really create an atmosphere and an environment in your classroom that really is welcoming in a casual way. Students be like, wow, like it's not all desks and chairs, it's really dry looking and very uniform. No, it's colorful. There's all these options. And really that's what I hope that you gather from this research project is that there's so many options out there, and there's research behind it that proves that they're effective. And so I hope that you give it a try. I love it. I'll continue to use it as I move forward. I've noticed it in my students, specifically with two of my students during math. I have them sit on a mobile desk, and they're away from other students. They're not at a table. And so that gives me opportunity to work with them directly if needed. But really, I've noticed a huge impact with their math. So I encourage you to move forward with flexible seating, and I hope you've enjoyed my presentation.